Hello and welcome to today's MBL webinar. CIL, that's Community Infrastructure Levy and Development Transactions, a guide with me, Peta. So, what are we going to be looking at today? Well, we're going to start off with an introduction where we look at how CIL works, who pays it, when it's payable, how much is payable, and we'll also look at some issues with outline planning permissions and phased developments. And we'll look at liability for CIL, and particularly protecting the seller or the landowner and ensuring that it's the developer that pays, which is obviously important if you're acting for the seller or the landowner. We'll look at some traps, including avoiding double deduction of CIL in valuation, and also issues that come up with consortium developments. There'll be a few drafting points. We'll look particularly at what is a building and also what is a dwelling. We'll look at some lessons from the cases, and then finally we'll look at some current proposals to replace CIL with infrastructure levy. So, okay, how does CIL work? Well, CIL was brought in by the Planning Act 2008. CIL was a new planning charge. And the Planning Act 2008 set out the CIL framework, but it didn't really work from that act. The details were going to be covered in regulations. And those were the Community Infrastructure Levy Regulations 2010, came into force on the 6th of April 2010 as SI 2010 number 948. And the 6th of April 2010 was actually quite a significant date because it was the last day that Parliament was in session before the calling of the general election, which returned what became the coalition government of David Cameron and Nick Clegg. So this was legislation that came from Labour, that came from Gordon Brown's government, and it was brought into force just before they left office at the last possible moment.